You've spent enough time on the internet to see one or two baby metal videos, and maybe you've seen that one lady baby video, but have you gone far enough down the Japanese AntiIdol rabbit hole that you're staying awake at night wondering who put together an all-female J-pop group where everyone wears Jason-style hockey masks and they make pro-Trump mosh metal? In another life, I was a music journalist, and there's an old bad joke about journalists and how they count. 1, 2, trend. It's how you end up with think pieces about cloud rap and videos about cat bands and baseball bands and all-female metal tribute bands. So I will be honest, because if you can't be honest on the internet, where can you be? I first heard baby metal a few years ago, and I definitely thought, this is the sickest shit ever, and most assuredly exists in a cultural vacuum. Then someone showed me this Necronomicon video, which is basically a J-pop black metal crossover, and I was definitely like, this is impossible and absolutely alone in this world. And then, one night, after a couple of medicinal toots, I probably Googled something like horror J-pop just to see if I could count all the way to trend. And I got so much more than I ever could have hoped for. Baby metal was many a Western hesher's first window into Japanese idol culture. But idol groups trace their lineage well past me reading about a sick new band on Metal Injection right back into the 80s. Onyanko Club are frequently credited as the first idol group, and baby metal, despite all of the double kick action, is still an idol group. And therefore, the structure of these videos lets me know that it's time for some extremely cursory Idol 101. Japanese idols are like highly evolved pop stars, manufactured from an early age by talent agencies to be as adept at selling soap as singles. Male or female, these are squeaky clean role models who are trained as media personalities as well as singers and dancers. But before Onyanko Club, they mostly rolled solo, like pioneering 70s idol Momo Yamaguchi. Last summer for you, last summer for you. The problem with solo idols is they can only represent one type of personality and therefore only appeal to one type of fan. But imagine how many more fans you could get with more than one type of idol, with 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 idols, or with 52 idols. Onyanko Club pioneered the idol group model and philosophy that has enjoyed peaks and valleys of popularity in Japan, but has particularly dominated its pop scene over the last 10 years, which took us from this to this. That's AKB48, the defining idol group of modern Japan. They're a genuine phenomenon with over 130 members spread across 5 teams or subgroups, another Onyanko Club born idea that allows new members to rise up the ranks, starting in more rookie groups and eventually finding themselves in the more popular subgroups within the larger unit. With this constant churn, idol groups need not be defined by individual members who graduate when they age out of the group or are kicked out of the group for violating strict codes of idol behavior. The idol language here is serious business. It's informative that the Onyanko Club's Wikipedia page contains an entire section dedicated to the Shuken Bunshan smoking scandal, a scandal in which 6 members of the group were photographed smoking. Each member of an idol group undergoes rigorous training and endures near constant oversight from the talent agencies that orchestrate their every move, both on stage and off, punishing them with Wikipedia controversy tabs for even the slightest indiscretion. Which is why it is so beautifully bonkers that in that environment, where AKB48 is king and the longest running group is Morning Musume, pause for some Morning Musume. Which is why, in that environment, it is so beautifully bonkers that this exists. Kim and Joshi, along with Baby Metal and Necronomicon, are part of a growing anti-idol movement in the Japanese idol scene. And that is the key here. I'm not saying that it's amazing that Japan has metal bands who wear costumes and headbang, but these are still idol groups in the classic sense. They're typically the product of a talent agency, like Amuse Inc., who created Baby Metal. And they feature cast-like subgroups that new members move through, like Cam and Joshi's Steam Girls. This honestly is an improvement on the Nyako Club subgroup concepts, which typically amounted to all of the short members plus a tall member. Idol groups also grind, performing multiple times daily at their own branded theaters, at malls, at post offices. You can see why you need the subgroups to divide and conquer. Like Alice Jubin, another Cam and Joshi joint. There was a time very recently when none of this would have been welcome in a traditional idol group. No allusions to Jason Voorhees, no aggressive steampunk aesthetic, no bass wobbles, but that rigid adherence to cutesy norms and virginal sweetness that defined idol culture for centuries was first challenged by Ramiro Clover Z. Formed in 2008, Ramiro Clover was a run-of-the-mill idol group at a time when Japan needed exactly 0 new run-of-the-mill idol groups. In a desperate twist, their producer ditched the traditional idol look, added the Z to the name, and dove headfirst into the unexplored waters of Super Sentai, sci-fi, horror, and wrestling to find new creative inspiration. The result was a massive departure from the idol mold, and as you can guess from the link of this video, an equally massive commercial success. And by bringing in new collaborators like the guy from the Go team, Ramiro Clover Z not only changed idol's aesthetic landscape, but its sonic possibilities. That sounds an awful lot like the Go team. And crucial to this part of the video is they also did a collab with Kiss, but like 2 years ago. So sick. Although I do feel like this other pioneering anti-idol group would not be caught dead making nice with the Star Child. Brand New Idol Society, or BIS, represent a more extreme vision. Built around formerly normal pop star Poor Louie, BIS kicked off a career of unending controversy with the release of a music video in which the members frolic nude through Agokigahara, the Japanese suicide forest. It's censored, but in a way that's somehow more unsettling, which was BIS's whole shtick. While others had laid the groundwork, from the transgressive 80s pop of Jun Tagawa to the shredding and shrieking of Midori's Mariko Goto, BIS and Poor Louie combined it all into a highly sellable commercial package, and then threw blood at that package every single chance they got. BIS and Ramiro Clover Z had proven that there was an audience, an arena-sized audience that would fall in love with idol groups that weren't afraid of a little controversy on their Wikipedia page. And so the floodgates were opened to high-gloss metalcore like Fruit Pochette. And opened to the bloody food-fighting pop-punk of Flick Proc. And opened to Death Rabbits, whose producers, the previously underground digital hardcore group Akira Death, are equally involved in the presentation of their digi Claypool worship. The floodgates got so open that there is a vaporwave idol group, Especia, which I only include because I know a few of you will be hella stoked. With seemingly endless possibilities for talent agencies looking to incorporate niche genres or subcultural identities into the prefab pop framework of an idol group, I started to wonder, should I start an idol group? I mean, there's symphonic death metal idol, and there's that Primus-ass idol that I just played, and there's darkwave idol. I could do this. I have a vision. I could start an idol group.
Hey, Sam.
Hey, Ricky, how's it going, man?
How are you?
I'm doing great. Hey, can you hear me okay? I just was fiddling with my mic there for a second.
There we go. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, not a problem.
So I called Ricky Wilson, who manages Necronomicon. He was a huge help in sketching out the scene for me. He's also an American from Pittsburgh, living in Tokyo, combining J-pop and Bathory, and basically living the coolest life that I can imagine. And so naturally, I started to imagine it for me.
Is there a bright future for American metalheads moving to Japan and starting alt-idol metal groups? Would you recommend this career path to other frustrated heshers from your homeland, you know, who haven't had an opportunity to fulfill their metal dreams in just like a standard issue American metal band?
So I started studying Japanese when I was in high school.
So that's the first step. So these people have to start learning Japanese now.
Yeah, I mean, I started when I was in high school. I was a Japanese major in university. I did a study abroad, and I had lived here. My wife is Japanese. I had been working as a translator. I've been working as interpreter for a while here. And every single day, I find my Japanese ability lacking when I'm trying to do this group. It's still not enough. I'm 34 now. I started when I was 16. So, 17 or 18 years of study, something like that.
Okay, so that's a long way. So I can't do this like tomorrow, which is
it's an uphill battle.
Despite crushing my dreams of running a This Exists talent agency in Tokyo, Ricky truly is doing the Lord's work with Necronomicon. When they're not playing with the textures and imagery of black metal, they're running monthly hardcore shows and then linking up with the esteemed Dan Turtimus to make crazy rad synthwave. At various points working on this episode, I had trouble believing that all of these groups really fit under the same umbrella. But as disparate as they sound and look, that idol framework remains, inexorably linking the heaviest to the corniest. In a lot of ways, it's just the bloodiest, loudest incarnation of the maxim that defined Onyanko Club. One idol can't hold the broad appeal of many idols. Just like how one sound or one aesthetic can't reach every music fan. And so you end up with this amazing canvas, bridging capitalism and art. Crass commercialism with genuinely astounding creativity, with the most unexpected cultures colliding in the interest of filling every possible niche with a pop star of its own. Like I said, it's so sick. What do you think? Are anti-idol groups really changing the boundaries of pop music? Will someone bring Necronomicon to Canada? And if I can't start an idol group, could one of you? Let me know in the comments, especially if you start an idol group, and subscribe for new episodes of This Exists every time I can write a good one. Thank you to everyone who supports this show on Patreon, and a reminder that for about the cost of a coffee, you can continue to support this show and get extra behind-the-scenes videos and cool things. Thank you to all of you. This video took a long time. It's really hot in my house. Be excellent to each other.